Let's talk setting clear business goals. Remember, on this channel, we keep it simple, practical, and for grassroots entrepreneurs. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the business meeting. My name is Noluthando Kambule, USomnotho, and on this channel, we simplify business for grassroots and small entrepreneurs. Somnot, what's on the agenda today? Today, we are talking about why goals matter. A lot of businesses don't fail because people are lazy. Sometimes they fail because there is no direction. You can work hard every single day but still feel stuck, especially if you do not know what you are working towards. Goals give your business direction. They help you measure progress and they move you from just trying to building intentionally. They help you measure whether you are moving forward or just staying busy. So now, what happens when you build your business without goals? Sometimes entrepreneurs become discouraged because they are working but they cannot see progress. And it's very easy to work hard but not see progress because without goals you become easily distracted. If there's no target, how do you measure success? Every opportunity starts looking good. Every trend feels urgent and every idea feels necessary. Goals help you focus on what actually matters for your business right now. And without them, you can easily start feeling discouraged and unmotivated. Remember, not every opportunity is your opportunity. So now, Somnot, what do goals give my business? Goals give your business direction. They help you to prioritize what matters instead of you moving blindly. They help you stay focused and stop chasing everything. You become more intentional with your time and your money. Goals provide you motivation. Now, because you have a goal that you have set for your business, you are able to notice even the small wins. Even reaching a weekly target helps to encourage you and helps you to better plan. Remember now, you are targeting 10 clients for this week, and you are realizing that on a Tuesday, I only had one client. On a Monday, I had two clients. So you walk into a Wednesday already knowing that you have 3 clients and you are 7 clients away from your 10. So now you need to understand, what do I need to do on a Wednesday to get me closer to my goal? So that's what goals do. They even encourage you and they help you track progress. Because now if you say, oh, on a Monday I opened a bit later, so maybe that's why I didn't get as much clients. On a Tuesday, I had to go and stock, so that's why maybe I didn't have a lot of clients. So today it's a Wednesday and I opened earlier and I'm in the store. So I am expecting that maybe I get 3 clients today so that it moves my number up to a 5. So that I know that the rest of the 4 days or 3 days, if you have a rest day, I am only targeting 5 more clients. So that's what goals do. They tell you how far you've come and how far you are going. Right? They help you move with more purpose and you grow with clarity. If there's one thing these mini sessions should teach you, is that clarity means everything for your business. So now, because you have goals, you stop chasing everything. All right? Goals help you ask, does this move me closer to where I want to go? Because one thing you must remember is that even if your business experiences its breakthrough on a particular day or in a particular season, that is as a result of everything you have done up until that day, because real growth happens step by step. It does not happen overnight. You can have your major contracting on that day. Maybe a certain shop says, please come and deliver your products to us, and you get that on a random Wednesday. That is because you have been consistent all along. So by the time that breakthrough comes, you have been building up to that. Step by step, you have been building up to that moment. Because what happens when you receive your breakthrough, before you had set goals and started building up, you do not know how to service that. So if you say, oh, now I need to actually produce 100 more, can my oven produce 100 more? Because on a normal day, on my busiest day, I can only do 30 trays in my oven. So now for 100, I maybe need 50 trays. So I cannot do this with one oven. Do you get what I mean? That's what having goals is. You already have a system, because when you have goals, you need to develop a way of doing things. You know, you will say, USomnotho, from episode 1 of this series, you have been telling us about system. Everything is a system. So now when you build goals, you have to build a system to support it. So when you actually start hitting your goals, you now are saying, okay, I'm hitting my goal because my way of doing things is actually working. So when that mega thing comes, you already know how you've done the smaller things, right? So now there are 3 types of goals every business should have. And what are those goals? You need to have short-term goals, which is the goals you set between your 1 to 3 month period. Then you should have medium-term goals between 3 and 12 months, and your long-term goals between your 1 to 5 years. Because your long-term future is built on what you do today. What do I mean by this? I think many people become overwhelmed because they focus on the big dream. You know, this is my end goal. This is the business of my dreams. If I achieve this, this will be it. This is why I had started this business, you know. And they forget that a sustainable business is built in stages. Short-term goals help you to stabilize. What do I mean by that? Remember, you've got 1 to 3 months. That's 12 weeks, right? And then in a week, you've got days. So for these 1 to 3 months, you are analyzing the patterns of your business. So I don't want you to complicate this. A pattern says, what is happening on my business on that day? That's what a pattern is. What is happening in my business during this time of the month? What is happening in my business during this particular day? That's what I mean when I say your business stabilizes with your short-term goals, and your short-term goals help you build that foundation. So now you understand, in a month I've got 4 weeks, and within those 4 weeks I've got 7 days each week. So now what happens on a Monday? What am I seeing on a Tuesday? What am I seeing on a Wednesday? All the way up until a Sunday. So now what you do in the next week is, what happened on this Monday? Am I seeing it again on the following Monday? What happened on the Friday? Am I seeing it again on the next Friday? You do that on your 3rd week also, right? What happened? You're now checking your Mondays against your Mondays, your Tuesdays against your Tuesdays. So now you start seeing a pattern in your business, or you start noticing that certain things are happening on particular days. It will not be rand for rand, but you start noticing that on a Wednesday, I'm seeing a lot of school kids, for example. On a Friday, I'm seeing a lot of construction workers. So on Fridays, I'm usually selling this product more, but on Wednesdays, this is the product that I'm selling more. But on Wednesdays, actually, these kids, after buying, want to take a picture. So maybe I should change my packaging. I should have a picture corner. You know, I'm seeing that the group is growing bigger and bigger. So maybe on Wednesdays, they have shorter days. Or on Wednesdays, they do some activity that forces them to pass by my place. Do you get what I mean? That's when you start noticing patterns. So you use your first 1 to 3 months to analyze the patterns of your business. So what happened? Because now 3 months, you now break it down to months. Month 1, this is where I ended up, these were my patterns. Month 2, this is where I ended up, these were my patterns. Month 3, this is where I ended up, these were my patterns. So now when I am moving to my next 3 to 12 months, I am using that 1 to 3 months as a basis to say, for me, every Wednesday, I should make sure I've got stock. Or every Thursday, I can actually close down and go and stock for my business because it is my slowest day. On the 25th, I am seeing more people who are buying in bulk. So on the 25th, I need to have my bulk orders ready, waiting. But on the 31st, they are buying more individual products. So I should make sure that I have individual product filling my store. That's what you use the 1 to 3 months to determine what happens on particular days, because we also notice days. You start noticing the 15th, the 25th, because those are days maybe that your customers have most money. Even in some communities, it's your grant days. What do those days mean for my business? So should I have in my spaza shop bulk product on that day, because I know a lot of people have just withdrawn their money and they would want to buy something conveniently. And then you get what I mean? So you use your 1 to 3 months to better plan for your 3 to 12. But your 3 to 12, you also have goals for that. To say, at 1 to 3, I'm expecting 10 clients a week. But at 3 to 12, I'm expecting 15 to 20 clients a week. Am I seeing that? And you should be seeing better growth because you are building better. You are building from a basis. Then from your 1 to 5, you now have your vision, your bigger dream. But that first year will tell you that, no, actually, June holidays, I made the most money. But December holidays, people seem to travel. I do not make money in December. As much as some people, it's festivities, they are using the stock film method. So they do have a lot of the basics that I require. Or during the festivities, people, the hairstyles that I do, they don't really come and support them. They prefer, so maybe December, I should be calling someone in next year to come and do these hairstyles that I'm seeing in the streets. I should be adding extra workers that do I was really slow with my braids, and December season is a braid season, so I should bring in more people to help me with that, because that's how I lost clients. That's what goals help you to do. So as we move on, these are some of the targets you have. Get 10 new clients, increase sales by 20%, improve packaging, reduce unnecessary expenses. I spent too much on this. It didn't really matter. People didn't really seem to care for it. Maybe next month I shouldn't do that. So that's what happens. So I think I have then broken down the different types of goals. So now we move on to say, when setting goals, what must I make sure I get right? So it's a good moment to slow down and teach you. We go down practically. I think now I need to slow down. I need to tell you there's a method called SMART. Goals must be SMART. They must be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. That's what makes goals work. They must be SMART. So what do we mean when goals need to be specific? You don't just say, I want to grow. You say, I want 15 customers a day. That's a specific goal. Goals must be measurable, which means you must be able to track progress using your goals. Numbers help you to see reality more clearly. And then goals must be achievable. You shouldn't be overstretching. It's good. Vuya is a big dreamer. You should be a big dreamer. But your goals should stretch you and not discourage you. Do you get what I mean? Then goals must be relevant. Focus on what actually matters for your business at that stage. I'm seeing a lot of people who are working from home who are coming to my place. So what do I need to create? What type of environment do I need to create? You cannot then say, no, I need to actually put a wall here and break it down in the next, in my 1 to 3 months, build a wall, but you know that your finances are limited. So how about at this stage, I just need to build a corner and say, you can work from here. How about I need to just add uncapped Wi-Fi, which I subscribe 500 Rand for, instead of now having this project that when you go for quotations, they say, no, you actually need 300,000 or 100,000 to do that, because you say, no, I want to create stations and I want them to have little chandeliers and make it feel like this office from, at this point, I just want to have a corner. I want to put maybe a motivational, what is it called, a frame with a motivational quote that I like, or you've got this, or, counting down to Friday if you want it to be a bit more funny. Do you get what I mean? So that's what I want to create, and I want to offer them Wi-Fi. That's a relevant goal. And then goals must be time bound. Give yourself timelines in this month, in this week, in these next 3 months, because they create both urgency and accountability. Because a dream without structure is a wish. You close your eyes, you blow your candles, you make your wish. Or you open your eyes, you write it down, and you work towards it. Right? And then now, why is it important to write down your goals? A goal on paper is a plan in action. It's in my head, it's my goal, I know what I wanted to write it down. A goal on paper is a plan in action. You can use a notepad, you can use your phone, you can use anything under the sun. A simple calendar, circle the date, write it down. Use a vision board, if you will. You write it down, you see it, you track it, you achieve it. You cannot just keep it in your head. If it's in your head, it's a wish. Close your eyes, blow the candles. So now what do I also need to do? You need to review your goals on a regular basis. Sometimes goals need adjustment. Business is not always predictable. Life happens, the economy changes, your customers change, but you need to write down your goals so you can go back and adjust and review. You adjust when needed, you don't give up, you move forward, and you reflect honestly. What went well? What didn't work? What will I do differently? Ask yourselves your WWW. Ask yourselves the 3 W's. What went well? What didn't? What will I do differently? Because you need to review your goals. That's why I said it starts with the smaller ones. It starts with your week. What went well in this week? What didn't go well? What will I do differently in the next week? And that doesn't mean change everything. It says, what do I need to observe? And then the next week. And then that's a month. What went well in this month? What didn't go well in this month? What will I do differently? Then it's 3 months. What went well in this quarter? What didn't go well in this quarter? What will I do differently in the next quarter? That's how you review your goals, right? Because big results come from small steps done consistently. Do not always think about the end goal, the big picture. Think about, how do I get it right now? Because many people quit because they underestimate small progress. Consistency looks boring in the beginning, but it changes your business over time. 1 customer becomes 10 because you are consistent. You are showing up the same way. People can predict what you will do. People are familiar with what you do. When there is word of mouth, I walk into the same business the person who told me about the business walked into. So now people become familiar with what you do. Right? That's how you grow. It's incremental growth. 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1. It's not always compounding. And then 1 good system. If you take nothing away from me and this series, take away the importance of systems. 1 good system becomes a stable business. Small daily discipline creates long-term results. Every day. Consistency is the bridge between where you are right now and where you want to be. Always. How you show up every day and consistently determines where you are going. So we'll now move on to understanding your customer, your products, and everything else. If this is the kind of content that you enjoy, please subscribe, share, like, and join the community. Ukuze senzeni sakhe umnotho. Kind regards, USomnotho.